Hello, my friends. This is the regularly scheduled live stream that we do every Sunday night between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. We don't always get on right at 8, but between 8 and 9 p.m. we'll be on. This one's going to be a little bit shorter than normal just because I got so much going on, guys. It's like crazy, and I'm trying to get ready for this trip. A couple announcements. Well, first off, if you're new to the channel, what we're going to cover, we're going to go over the daily chart behavior for the SPY ETF for S&P 500 by the hour throughout the coming week, the entire week. And then we'll also look at Bitcoin, and then we're going to get into the questions and answers that people have left on the Discord channel. If you want to ask questions like live on the stream, you'll need to be a member of YouTube, and that's going to be going forward, guys. It's $50 a month. All you do is go to our Tarot for Traders channel on YouTube and click join. That gets you live, the ability to ask live questions on the chat. Otherwise, you need to be a paying subscriber. You need to be a paying subscriber on the Discord, either early access, monthly access, total access, one of those. All right, and now before I get into that, couple announcements. We just added DBE trading to our Discord server. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you will see. There's a bunch of new channels. I'm sure he's probably going to be adding more based on what we discussed. But if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of our server, guys, right here, DBE Trading, this guy is somebody that I feel is really on the level, and I thought it would be helpful because my weaker area, like everybody knows, my timing is my strongest area, and chart behavior, sequence of events, strongest area. Price levels, I give ranges more so than actual, like to the penny. Ben, on the other hand, I feel like that's his strength. So if you combine the two of us together, I felt like it could be very, very lucrative and helpful for the people on the Discord. So that is a separate subscription, something that you would need to handle with DBE Trading. But I definitely approve of them. That's why they're here. Much love, Ben. So with that said, I'm going to have a couple of special offers at the end of this live stream. One's $400 off, one's $500 off. So stick around for those at the very end of the video. Sorry, guys. I was supposed to be on streamer mode. All right. So first off, let's take a look at the last trading day and see how our daily went. And you can see we had a lowest low thus far here in the pre-market. We had a highest high here, you could say, right at the open, and there was a trade opportunity opening up a short. We had a low between 10 and 11. You can see we had a low right here at like 10:15. We had another low around 11:30-ish. We had another low right here. It was a little bit, well, depending on how you look, it was either 11:38 or 12, roughly the same price level. Either way, we pretty much nailed those, and then we go into a high. Now, I have this high here between 1 and 2 o'clock. That ended up being right at 2 o'clock. So this is a pretty solid reading. There was possibly another high at the end of the day, but I did say in the Discord or on live or whatever that this wasn't as reliable based on some of the other stuff that's going on. And what it actually looks like ended up happening is we had this sideways fluctuating decline from the high. That probably indicates that at some point on the 13th, there'll be a higher price level. Usually that's what it'll indicate. But I do see lower price level probably right off the bat, and then we move to the upside. With that said, let's get into it, my friends. All right, so this is the S&P 500 Spider ETF SPY one-day reading for January 13th, 2024. It is currently January 12th, January 13th, 2025. It's currently January 12th, 2025, 8:21 p.m. Eastern Time. SPY at the time of this reading, $580.49. That's USD. So the overall theme and behavior for the day, we have a notable move to the upside. There's sideways rotation, big move higher, sideways rotation. There's a notable reversal at the high, so you want to be careful for that. We probably have like a big move, like starting out of a decline, going from the bottom of range to the top of range to meet that high for the day. And then there's a notable reversal. It looks like we might even come back down to lows or lower at the end of the day after that move. Interesting. The Magus card in the low significator position does indicate a pretty lucrative opportunity. Usually it's a good exit. So if you're in a position and you're like waiting for this opportunity, usually the Magus card is like kind of like providing that opportunity. And then the trade card is a nullified strength card. So that's we want to trade around a move out of a decline from the bottom of the range to the top of the range. Being that it's nullified, it probably means that that move to the upside does not hold. And it does look like it's a move all the way to the high, and then it doesn't hold. So in the pre-market, we have the prudence card. Prudence card indicating sideways rotation or some sort of tricky behavior. There's something there you might be like inclined to maybe make the wrong decision. So you want to be careful. Sometimes it's multiple false bottoms or tops. We might actually open higher in the pre-market and then decline into a lowest low thus far in the pre-market. And then right around the open, there should be a crest that's like a near overbought crest we'll sell off from through multiple support levels. There's another low, or there's two lows somewhere between the open and, let's say, 11 o'clock. It could be one low, could be two. It's probably two. So we have multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance in the first half hour, and then some pretty mixed behavior, like a sideways S formation that takes place within a channel between roughly 10 and 11 o'clock. And in the midst of that, we should see a low, or like our lowest low for the day thus far. And then we have an important support level on a 1 month scale minimum that's highlighted between roughly 11 and 12, probably closer to 12. Out of that, and that'll be our lowest low thus far again, around 12 o'clock. Then out of that, we have this notable rally all the way into key resistance, probably into a high around 2 o'clock, somewhere between 1 and somewhere between, let's say, 1 and 3 o'clock, but probably just before 2. Between roughly 1 and 2. Oh, and for that rally into that resistance, we should have a decline with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down out of that peak that forms. It'll be like a peak where we break through key resistance, we stay above it briefly, and then we break back down through it shortly thereafter with the full retracement. And then it looks like and some where we decline to and through support to meet another support somewhere around the 2 to 3 o'clock hour. Then we should rotate sideways before another sharp decline through multiple support levels taking place at the end of the day there in that last hour. And that'll likely be a very notable move to the downside there, guys, off of this high. The way that I would trade this, and it's a little tricky because I am expecting some sort of, there might be like a really big move to the upside midday and then it's nullified. Either that, the alternate would be that there's a big move, like we open significantly higher in the pre-market and then it's all bearish from there. That could happen as well. That's an alternate. But likely what you want to do is if you're in a short position, if you've been following along and you're in a short position, you might take this opportunity to close out of the short position, which you could do probably like right at the open, provided that it's profitable. I wouldn't do it if it's not profitable because there's going to be other opportunities. I'm saying this at the open because if you don't have a lot of risk tolerance, you might get scared out of that short position in the middle of the day, depending on if there's a big move there or not. But if you can hold it until that short position into the following day, oh, wow. Yeah, I would hold that short position into the following day, guys. I'm not really seeing any clear day trades here. Although if there's a lowest low thus far here around 12 o'clock, you could likely get into a long position for a day trade and close out at 2. But personally, I wouldn't do that because I don't like to trade against the trend. And it really does look, surprisingly enough, usually when you have the theme card to the upside, it's a downward trend. But there are cases where it's like mostly that way. I mean, when you have a wealth card to the as the theme card, there's usually an upward trend. But I'm seeing a downward trend at the end of the day. So there's probably a move there is what I'm saying. Yeah, the death card. So we're definitely going to see lower price levels on the 14th. And we'll get into that in just a moment. This is the S&P 500 Spider ETF SPY one-day reading for January 14th, 2025. Currently, it is January 12th, 2025, 8:27 p.m. Eastern Time. SPY at the time of this reading, $580.49 USD. the shuffle video for the, where'd it go? For the January 14th reading was created on January 10th, 2025 at 12:45 p.m. Eastern time. We were so backed up. Finally feeling like we're starting to catch up. Long way to go though. Anyhow, so if you just hopped on, you're new to the channel, guys, we're going to go over the hour by hour sequence of chart events for the S&P 500 Spider ETF SPY for the entire week to come. We do it like a daily readings by the hour, so stay tuned for that. We're going to go through all of them, and then at the end of this video, I'll give you some special offers after we also go through Bitcoin and answer a few questions. I'm definitely not going to be able to get through all the questions, guys, just because it's a short session. So here on the 14th, the theme card is a decline increasing with momentum moving forward in time. However, it is nullified. Interesting. Wow, pretty interesting here, guys. We do have a cross-suiting congruency right here at the start of the day, so that's something to be important of. But out of the highest high for the day, we should have a notable move to the downside, revisiting an important multi-day support that we recently met as an opportunity. Behavior around the lowest low for the day, a significant trough should form after a sharp decline that'll stand out on a multi-day scale, taking us into that low, probably like this is from declining from like pretty notably overnight. The other possibility is that there's a sharp decline here midday. Behavior around the lowest low, there's a resistance level on a multi-day scale that's highlighted that we decline from into the low and then return back to that resistance in the not too distant future. Usually it's the same reading. Sometimes it's like the following reading. I'm advised to trade around an important breakout that'll take place here, and we're going to look at that in more detail as we progress through the reading. I feel like there's a lot of movement in the pre-market there out of a low, with a breakout there in the pre-market, probably right at the open, creating a high. There's an important technical price level there in the first half hour that's highlighted. That'll be important on a one-year chart scale minimum, or excuse me, on a 1 month chart scale minimum, and we'll likely decline from that resistance there in the first half hour, and then come to a support level that we rotate sideways along at another low for like a lowest low thus far for the day. Between roughly 10 and 11, and there should be a sharp drop in that sideways rotation that takes us into the low with a lot of movement to the downside. After that drop, there should be sideways rotation and then another move to the upside, taking us possibly back to highs. Either that or it'll be just a prominent peak between roughly 11 and 12 most likely. The full card offering a notable, improbable opportunity, likely a big move to the downside there between roughly 12 and 1, taking us into a lowest low for the day there around the cusp, right around like 1 o'clock. We have a failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support between roughly 1 and 2. Oh, and out of that low around 12 o'clock, we should see a notable move to the upside into failed resistance, into a failed attempt to break through resistance, followed by a decline through key support. I'm advised not to chase that decline back down around 2 o'clock. There's some pretty notable back and forth sideways rotation and price swinging going on in the last 2 hours. Oh, and it should be along an important support level on a 1 month scale minimum. Interesting. Yeah, and I think we're probably going to end at lows there. At lows or close at the end of the day there. This up here is a little concerning. There could be like a huge move from the low all the way into like a day's high right here around 2 o'clock. That will be an alternate. But the way that I would play this is I would probably hold the short position. Like if you can hold the short position, yeah, if you can hold the short position there into the 17th, that would be advisable. But one place that you could close out of it, the multi-day short, that would be a good place is here at this full card between roughly 12 and 1, probably closer to 1 is when you would want to exit. Any big rally that you see into an important technical price level on a multi-day scale that starts here out of the open, like once we see a highest high thus far for the day at a key technical price level on a 1 month scale, that would be an opportunity to open up a short, which for day trade you could close at that same place around 2 o'clock, or you could hold that short into the following day, or if you wanted to close, you'd probably be able to close out of it at the end of the day, but I wouldn't count on that. I would plan to close out of it on the 15th, the 16th, or the 17th. We'll look at that in more detail as we progress. Definitely on the 17th, maybe opportunities on the 15th, 16th as we look at it. And that, let's see. Another unicursal hexagram sharp decline here into the low here on the 14th as well, so something to be very mindful of. And that's SPY for the 14th. If you're just joining us and you're new to the channel, we're going through the hour-by-hour sequence of chart events for SPY throughout the coming week. We do this every Sunday between roughly 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll also attempt to give you the timing of the highs and the lows to the hour, usually on point, but it's the sequence of events that you want to pay attention closest to. If the timing is off, it'll be like plus or minus a day here, or excuse me, plus or minus an hour here, here or there of wiggle room, but the sequence of events which should remain accurate. So here for SPY, this is the January 15, 2025 reading for SPY. Behavior around the overall theme is the sideways fluidity, sideways rotation, equal amounts of bulls and bears, inflow and outflow. And what's interesting is that this change card here and this works card here, they both appear very next to each other here at the end of the day. So this could be a sharp decline, and then we see this change and works card kind of energy taking place here. Actually, that's actually very likely what it is. That's what yeah, another really sharp move to the downside overnight. We have a big move higher in the pre-market, but sharp move to the downside overnight. Behavior on the highest high for the day. A crest that will sell off from down 2 and through support. We'll do a U-shaped reversal, come back and break through that price level to the upside, and then reuse it as support. But it's nullified, meaning that hard to say in this case. Behavior around the lowest low, we have a pop and drop off of the low that usually indicates that there's more than one low with a peak in between, and then a nullified trade card indicating that a nullified trade card indicating it's hard to say in this case, but likely the trade card and the high are like counteracted by some sort of chart behavior. Now decline continues through the overnight. In the pre-market, we have a fast sudden move higher into a high for the day. They're right around the open, a disappointing failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through multiple support levels into a low with this sideways rotation at a low that takes place around 10 o'clock. Out of that low, we should have a rally along a diagonal trend line between roughly 10 and 11 that ends with a fast sudden move higher, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. Multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance between roughly 11 and 12. A brief peak that's easily missed between roughly 12 and 1, off of which there should be a decline through multiple support levels into a lower lowest low taking place somewhere between 1 and 2 o'clock. We should see sideways rotation at that low, and then that sideways rotation should end with a fast sudden move higher that takes us into key resistance between roughly 2 and 3. That key resistance we should decline from and then return to in the not too distant future. It looks like I'd probably return to it on the 16th most likely. So that resistance would offer opportunity to open up a short again if you miss the opportunity. And then in the last hour, we have a notable move to the downside through multiple support levels into a lowest low. So this would be a good place to exit a short if you don't want to stay in longer. You could close out here around 10 o'clock from the multi-day short. And then when we hit that resistance, you would open up another short. Here, this resistance between roughly 2 and 3 with the intent to close out of it most likely here on the 16th, but if not on the 16th, then definitely on the 17th. And that's SPY for the 15th. If you're new to the channel or you're just hopping on, guys, we're doing the daily SPY readings by the hour for the coming week. We do this every Sunday between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. We're going to give you some special offers at the end of this video after going through Bitcoin and some of the questions that we got on the Discord. So this is the S&P 500 Spider ETF SPY one-day reading for January 16th, 2025. Currently, it is January 12th, 2025, 8:37 p.m. Eastern Time. SPY at the time of this reading, $580.49 USD. And the shuffle video for the... What the heck? Where did it go? Okay, that's weird. Oh, that's February. Shuffle video. Oh, yeah, I gave you the wrong times for the last two because I was looking at February readings. They were all made back in February of 2024. I was trying to get a year ahead, but that was completely impossible. I just got so swamped. So here, the January 15th reading was created on February 5th, 2024 at 8:48 p.m. Eastern Time. There's plenty of people that still follow the channel that were following it a year ago that saw me point these, actually show you these files back in February. So definitely not BS for those of you that are skeptical. All right, so SPY for January 16th, 2025. The overall theme of behavior, there's that resistance level that we should decline from and then return to in the not too distant future. Behavior around the high side for the day, a notable decline offering opportunity to open up a long position because most likely we'll revisit the high again in the not too distant future. Behavior around the lowest low for the day, we have a resistance level that we decline from into the low and then return to that resistance in the not too distant future. Usually that when you see an ace of swords in that position, it's usually indicating like a decline from a high into a low and then back to a high. I think in this case it probably is saying that. And then we're advised to trade around an overbought crest that we sell off from through multiple support levels. In the pre-market, we have a lowest low thus far in the midst of some sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bear, inflow and outflow. Likely have that resistance level highlighted in the pre-market right around the open. And there's likely a decline from that resistance level through multiple supports into the low there in the pre-market. Now, right around the open, we have the abundance card indicating a new high after making lows. There's a fast sudden move higher to a day's high thus far between roughly the open and 10 o'clock. And then that's followed by a significant move to the downside into a lowest low for the day, taking place between 10 and 11, probably closer to 11. There'll be a period of volatility, and then that volatility around that low there will end with a big move to the upside, pushing the upper end of a range higher and taking us into a high for the day between roughly 12 and 1 o'clock, probably closer to 1. It looks like it's probably the same high as the one that we had earlier in the day. And there should be another notable move to the downside out of that high, starting around that 1 o'clock hour, creating a U-shaped dip between roughly 1 and 2 o'clock. And then that U-shaped dip we should return back to the high again at an important range at a high there between roughly 2 and 3. From that high, we should likely have another decline, and then that decline will reverse and will return to a high in the last hour at key resistance again, from which we should abruptly turn around and decline into lows either right at the open, right at the close, or very likely we see lower price levels on the 17th. Most likely right there, actually, in the beginning of the day. So if you're still holding on shorts, one place that you could close out of shorts is going to be here at that lowest low thus far. Probably the lowest low for the day, actually, taking place around 2 o'clock. Or, like I said, you could hold it, if you've got good risk tolerance, you could hold it into the following day. Might make sense to open up like a hedging position for a day trade here. This resistance at the high that we see in the first half hour could offer opportunity to open up a short and close a short at the day's low for a day trade. You could open up a long at that low and close the long at the same high, as whatever the high was that formed here in the first half hour. Likely see it again here between 12 and 1, closer to 1. So you could close out of that long for a day trade there. If you miss that opportunity, likely you'll have another opportunity to close out of the long in the last 2 hours, maybe more than once. But I would never, the rule of thumb with SO Meta trading, never wait for the backups. Always take the first exit and then find another profitable trade. Don't wait. Don't wait. Those are backups, okay? Now, if we're at a high at the close, which is unlikely, but there is a possibility. So if we're at a high at the close, or you see the same highs in the last 2 hours, I would say you could probably open up a short there as well for an overnight swing. You'd close out of the short here. Either right at the open if we're at lowest lows, or somewhere in the first hour and a half. To be safe, I'd probably do it there right in that first half hour. And this is the S&P 500. Oh, hey, Matt. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Appreciate the support. Feel free to ask any questions, my man. So this is the S&P 500 Spider ETF SPY one-day reading for January 17th, 2025. Currently, it is January 12th, 2025, 8:43 p.m. Eastern Time. SPY at the time of this reading, $580.49 USD. Whoop, where'd it go? Sorry, guys, my scroll is being buggy. The shuffle file for the 16th reading, for the 17th reading, excuse me, it was created on February 5th, 2024 at 8:56 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so the overall theme and behavior for the day, we have an important resistance level on a multi-day scale there on the 17th that we declined from, and we should return to it at least once throughout the day. It's very likely, like you can see here, I notated this while laying the cards, and very likely it's the same resistance that's highlighted from the prior day, from the 16th, and we're revisiting it again. Especially if we didn't revisit the resistance from yesterday, then very, very strong possibility we see it again today. Behavior on the highest high, a lot of volatility and price change into and or out of the highest high for the day, and the high and the low for the day are within close time proximity to each other. There's another sharp unicursal hexagram decline taking us into the low for the day. And around the low for the day, we should have a failed attempt to break through key resistance followed by a decline into that low. And it's very likely a failed attempt at that resistance that we revisit more than once. That indicates that we probably decline from the high all the way into a low. Like we go right from the high to the low, very likely. Oof. The trade card is nullified, making it a little tricky, but there should be bearish price swings or a sharp drop that we want to trade around if we can catch that. Now, in the pre-market, there should be sideways rotation along key support on a multi-day scale. A lot of decline into that sideways rotation. At the open, we have sideways rotation that ends with a fast, sudden move higher, taking us out of the lowest low thus far and unexpectedly. And we meet a resistance level there in that first half hour that we decline from pretty notably into a trough between roughly 10 and 11. There may be another low right before 12 o'clock. It's a little murky there, guys. We've got an important resistance and a high there between 12 and 1, but I'm sensing a lot of movement to the downside out of that high into a low. The only thing is that we've got the low before the high here, so there might be some whipsawing action going on there. This does lead me to believe here between roughly 1 and 2 that there is some sort of whipsawing, because that's like a sideways S formation within a channel taking place there between 1 and 2. And we will attempt to establish support at the high. It doesn't look like it holds there between 12 and 1. Now, that period of volatility between 2 and 3 will end with a fast and move higher, likely taking us back to that resistance again. Or there's multiple failed attempts to break the resistance there between roughly 2 and 3, and then the fast and move higher ending that volatility probably happens actually between 3 and the close, taking us into a high there again where we revisit that resistance level that we fell from and we were supposed to return to. We should revisit it there at the close again, and from that we likely have a notable decline into the post market. Another important thing to point out is that the Princess of Cups is the low significator card for the January 1 month overview reading, and it also is involved with the unicursal hexagram, We've got universal hexagram energies here on the monthly. This is what you call like a double cross reading congruency. So that's pretty strong for a notable bottom taking place on the 17th. And that's where I would officially exit out of my short positions for the month, my friends. There between the open and let's say 12 or 11:45. But the sooner the better, as long as it's profitable, guys. Don't worry about getting the max gain. Like people who worry about the max gain are usually complete rookies. Either that or they just haven't learned yet, and that's scary. But you don't want to worry about max gain, guys. You want to worry about most reliable exit. That's how a seasoned trader trades. So be aware of that, my friends. And that's SPY for the 17th of January, 2025. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. Much love and appreciation. Blessings to all my angel investors. We're going to do the following week of dailies this coming Sunday, my friends. So 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. And that's how it's going to be moving forward. You'll need to be a member of YouTube to chat live on these live streams. Or you'll need to be a paying subscriber on our Discord to ask questions ahead of time. We may or may not be able to get to all of those, but I'll do my best. And we also, after the SPY, we cover Bitcoin, and then we do Q&A. So for Bitcoin, where did my Bitcoin go? Oh, here we go. So far, the 1 years have been holding up pretty well. We are seeing a lowest low, at least thus far, somewhere around the 12th. Now remember, especially with the cryptos, it can be plus or minus a day of wiggle room. Looks like we did have a highest high thus far there on the 6th. So I had a question mark because it was a little unclear, but it did end up being a highest high thus far. And then we go into these lowest lows. We had a lowest low thus far on the 1st. That held up pretty nicely, guys. This has been a really solid reading. So yeah, I would be looking out for that today or tomorrow's sharp decline. But be careful, guys, because that sharp decline is followed by a huge move to the upside into a prominent peak and possibly all the way back to a highest high. There's a breakout there on the 14th. So that'll be whatever it is, that peak will be at an important technical price level on a multi-day scale. So we should rally out of a lowest low thus far around the 12th into a important technical price level, likely to be a highest high revisited around the 14th. Looks like it may be a higher high, like a breakout from the previous high. Wow. And then remember, we've got highs here as we go into the 21st, 22nd. So be mindful, guys. Don't get scared out the wrong time. That's Bitcoin. Let me take a look and see what we got for questions here on the live stream channel. The overall trend for Coinbase for the month of Rucio, the overall trend for Coinbase throughout the month of January. I wonder, do I have a monthly or 1 year for this? I forgot. I don't think I have it completed, but let's double check. Nope. No Coinbase. Yikes. Okay, I'm gonna have to do one of those eventually. With that said, overall trend and behavior for the month of January for Coinbase. So out of a decline, we have a huge move from the bottom of a range to the top of a range. This is on a multi-day scale, guys. That holds up a lot of weight because a lot of the January, February areas of the 1 years are showing like a notable decline and then a huge move all the way from the bottom of the range back to the highs that we declined from in early February. Or we declined in January, back to them in early February. So I would say that holds up pretty well for Coinbase. Will GME squeeze in the next 1 to 2 weeks? We'll do a short squeeze, I believe you're asking. I got a yes. So look for a key support level on a multi-day scale, probably on a 1 year chart scale, but it'll be a multi-day scale for sure. Key support level that you can rely upon. That's where you should see the squeeze start. And hey, KG. Hey, yo. How does HBAR and UX Link coin perform till the end of January? So between now, the overall trend for HBAR between now and the end of January, this is one of the altcoins that I'm very, very bullish on, guys. Overall, I'm holding this one myself. I have about 1,200 HBAR. Not a huge position, but you know, it's pretty juicy for me. I don't usually have huge positions. So HBAR overall trend between now and the remaining January days. We have the completion of a rally there. So there should be a crest basically that forms when you see the completion card. Yeah, so likely what that means is that we bottom out somewhere very, very shortly. And then there's like a move to the upside that creates a crest and it's followed by a move back down. UX Link. All right, so overall trend direction for UX Link between now and the remainder of January. Oh, I got the Ace of Discs, so there's definitely a lot of price change. My sense is that this is probably going lower, and then it establishes support, and then there's a fast sudden move higher. Either that or there's a fast sudden move higher and then a full retracement. It's hard to say with the Ace of Discs. I probably revisit this, ask me again on another juncture. Likely it will be clearer. So overall for CTA for January, yeah, significantly to the upside. I believe that's what we said last time this was asked. And then for February, there's an important range on a multi-day scale that's highlighted. We'll probably get like prevent it from going higher in February, or like we decline and revisit that high for weeks. Which I believe is WXT or WX, isn't the crypto for weeks WXT? I believe it's WXT. WXT, yeah. Yeah, guys, this is ones that I'm very, 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 very bullish on. Hopefully I made that point. I'm very bullish on this. All right. That doesn't mean just jump in all of a sudden, but I mean, it's less than 4 cents. It's just a little over 3 cents. So why the hell not? I'll be purchasing this one as soon as I can figure out how to do so, because New York is such a pain in the butt. I am going on a trip, so I'm going to try and buy crypto as I'm driving down the East Coast in each state and see until I can actually do it, and then I'll pick up my crypto on that drive. But overall for January, yeah, this is going to have a resistance level that we failed to break through many times, highlighted here. February, we break through that resistance and go higher. RGTI guidance, will there be bullish moves again? I got a yes for that. I got the devil card. So be very, very careful, guys. They're right now what's going on with all those quantum stocks. They're trying to scare everybody out. Right? This is what happens when they're late on the jump. The big boys are late on the jump. They find out about something too late. They just push everybody around, get a better price, and then it rockets, right? So don't be fooled. As for QUBT, I'm expecting a huge move to the upside, either starting on Monday or very, very likely on Tuesday. Might be like a short-term exit for longs if you're looking to get out for a good gain in the near term. All right, and then yeah, for sure, Matt. That's the best way to do it, my brother. Get in late, get out early. Who gives a crap about max gain? Like, if you're thinking that way, you've got a lot to learn, my friend. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that as like a warning. You do not want to think that way. That is scarcity mentality. Like, oh, let me get that max gain because this is the only time I'm going to be right. That's scarcity, guys. You go for the most reliable exit. Who cares if you leave money on the table? The majority of people that I meet that are hugely successful in the stock market are people that consistently get out too early. And they're like, man, I always get out too early. And I'm like, dude, that's why you make money. So remember that. That's something that took me a while, like years, to really burn it into my head through constant, failures. I learned so many things the hard way, my friends. All right, so Tesla and Nvidia highs and lows for January. I hope I have those done, my friend. Let me see what we got. I just don't have time to do them, guys, unfortunately. Even if they're not done, there's really no time to waste. Yes. Okay, so Tesla is completed. I might have even done a reading for this one, like a video. I'm not sure. But let's take a look. Tesla is one of the tickers that's covered by our monthly access subscription, my friends. That's something you get the highs and the lows predicted to the day, as well as all the best trades that we see. And then most importantly, you get access to the live Discord trade alert channels for Tesla and the live updated TradingView chart link right here, which gives you access to all of our live updated chart drawings. And you can see I'm not always right. Like, most of these are on point, guys, but I'm not always right. And the bigger the ellipse, the more generalized it's going to be. Like, these big ellipses are based on a 1-year reading by the week. These smaller ones are based on a 1-month reading by the day. You see what I mean? But these are what we expect. When there's a green ellipse, we expect to see a peak form within that ellipse somewhere. And when it's a red ellipse, we expect to see a trough form or a low form within that red ellipse somewhere. Again, not always right most of the time. And you also get some sort of instructions. I made the font as small as possible so that you can actually read it. But there's usually instructions in these ellipses as well. I do need to update this one, though. So let's see what we got going on here. And after that, I'm going to roll, my friends. No more questions, please. Because I'm going to be working probably till 1 a.m. tonight. So much for 20 minutes, right? Never goes that way. All right, so yeah, so this is interesting, guys. Like, I am seeing a peak around the 13th, 14th in a lot of readings. There's some sort of peak, not necessarily like a highest high in a lot of them, but there are some where it's a highest high. Like QUBT has one around here. I'll look at it in a moment. But this could very well be a highest high thus far taking place. I would expect a lot of price movement in Tesla to the upside here. That then turns over before we even enter into the 14th, so be careful, or it turns over on the 14th. Be careful of that. But again, I think probably the highest price level. So it could be that we're revisiting the high there around the 30th. Yeah, it looks like we're revisiting a high there, guys, on the 30th. It might be the 29th, actually. More likely it's the 29th, but it could be the 30th. Hard to say. As far as the lowest lows, we had our lowest low here at the very beginning of the month. I was a couple of days off, so that may mean that there is a lower one, but really I think that's probably the lowest of them. Oh. So there's a possibility of one over here on the 15th, but I think it's probably was here in the first few days. I had it for the 6th. Unfortunately, that was our highest high thus far, so not my best reading per se, but doesn't mean that we're off. Like, sometimes you do need to give it plus or minus a day, and if you give it plus a day or minus a day, we're basically at lowest lows. So it's a possibility. We'll have to see what happens here on the 15th. As far as Nvidia is concerned, yes, okay, I got it done as well. Oof, you're lucky. For those of you that are new, I'm like, yes, I got it done because I had to skip a lot of January. I had some serious health issues right at the end of the year that put me so far behind. I just had to skip some of this stuff. All right, so Nvidia. This one's a little tricky, guys, just because my high was early. My high was late, and my high was early on, late on Tesla, early on Nvidia. But this is very likely, based on what's transpired, we've got these lows coming up on the 22nd, 23rd. And then that's either that could be followed by a like a highest high after making those lows, or this is a highest high for the month. This is probably a highest high for the month based on the fact of what's transpired so far. Yeah, lowest low around the 22nd, 23rd. All right, my friends, I'm going to give you those special offers that I was talking about. Also, if you're new to the channel, I'm going to show you guys how to get the subscriptions that we're talking about. So first off, it's $50 a month to ask questions on our live streams. We have them every Sunday. You can ask as many questions as you want. Or the much more, like if you're really serious about trading SO meta-analysis, then you're going to want to get one of these subscriptions because they have game-changing services. So you go to our website, Tarot for Traders, hover over Order Now, click on Subscriptions. Early Access subscription gets you the live Discord trade alerts and live updated trading view charts for SPY, as well as all of the best trades that we see. And when these videos start coming out earlier again as normally, they're not so much right now just because we're playing catch up. But when we start putting out those March, April readings, this should be ahead of time, like significantly ahead of time and one at a time by the day. All of that is part of the subscription. But really, it's those live Discord trade alerts, live updated trading view charts that really, really, really helpful, game-changing services. Now, if you want to take it up a notch, monthly access subscription gets you the day-by-day chart behavior on a monthly basis for all of these crypto and ticker symbols. As well as the timing of the highest highs, the lowest lows, and the best trades, and the Discord trade alert channels for these tickers and crypto specifically, the live Discord or the live updated trading view charts as well for those. The total access is our most premium or highest level subscription, gets you access to everything on our website, and the 1 year version of the 2025, so all these crypto and ticker symbols, as well as a bunch that haven't been added yet. The timing of the highs and lows for the year for all of those. As well as these as well, just to be clear, for the monthly access tickers as well. And the best trades that we see. As well as sometimes we have multi-year data on there as well. And the live Discord trade alerts, live updated trading view chart links for all those crypto and tickers as well. Game-changing services, much love and appreciation. Everybody that goes about and gets those. Now, as far as the special offers... These offers are expiring on Wednesday, my friends. Ugh. Did I erase them? Oh, I've got them here. Okay, good. All right, so the first offer, we've got these multi-year readings, guys. They probably people are more unfamiliar with those than normal because we haven't done as many of them. But you go to custom readings, you click on multi-year reading, and you can pick a reading where we do the chart behavior by the year for 2020 to 2029, 2030 to 2039, 2040 to 2049. They're $150 each, one of our less expensive services. But you can get 10, like you can get a pack of those, 10 of those for $1,000. Normally 10 of those would cost $1,500. But so with this special offer, and you have to navigate. You can't find this by like clicking on links on the website. You have to actually type this in, tarotfortraders.com/10-multi-year-readings-4-1-000. And if you forget that or you get it wrong, you can always message me on the website, message me on Discord, or if you're an angel, we've already dropped these special offers. They've been in the Angel Investors channel for a few days now. They always get that stuff ahead of everybody else. That's one of our special offers. We've got the other special offer we got running right now. This one's actually really popular. You can get 2 1-year readings for $600. These are specifically 2026s, but if you're like a paying subscriber already or you're a paying customer already and you're like, hey man, can we do this 2025? I'm not going to turn you down, my friends. You could still get the deal. I'm trying to focus. I don't like to do readings when it's already during that time frame, if that makes sense. So anyhow, this would normally be $1,000. It's $400 off. You're getting 2 1-year readings for $600. The URL is tarotfortraders.com/product-page/special-offer-2-4-600. I'll also drop this in the Angel Investor chat, and you can message me on the website, message me on Discord, and I'll set you up with the link for that. Again, these offers expire on Wednesday. And for those of you that really like to help out the channel, much love and appreciation to you right off the bat for being one of those special supporters. We put these special offers out because we need a little help on the near term. So if you want to like show some extra like special support, pulling the trigger on one of these special offers tonight or tomorrow would be like hugely helpful for us. And it would also put me at ease a little bit, guys. I'm super stressed, which you guys know, not a good thing right now for me. So much love and appreciation. Everybody goes ahead and does that. Much love and appreciation, everybody watching. Blessings to all my angel investors. If you don't know what an angel investor is, my God, guys, where you been? Go to the resources tab of our website. 5% of all profits from the information on this channel should be donated forward to a charity. 5% of the profits should be donated back to the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use Wise to send money, or you can use crypto. Click on the crypto. There's a bunch of different QR codes, so you can donate a bunch of different cryptos. It leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. Following those rules makes you an angel investor of the channel. You do that regularly, you get access to the angel investor Discord channel, as well as the universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through.